certainly hope not, and I hope you never are. But sometimes I think we feel as though, or navigate life as though we're supposed to be able to handle problems, crises or conflict, or even grief all by ourselves, as if we are on an island unto ourselves. My friend, we were never designed to do life that way. I was talking to a friend the other day who's going through something that I think requires some actual grief processing. And they keep insisting that they can handle it and tomorrow will be a better day and they're just having a really difficult day now. But between you, me, and the fence post, this person has been having a difficult quote-unquote day for years. And it always makes me curious when people are really resistant to getting support. If you've listened to this podcast at all for any measure of time, you know I'm a huge fan of coaching or therapy or support or counseling, ways to be connected and processed, because my friend, we cannot sometimes, so often in fact, see the forest for the trees. When we're in the middle of something and we've been in that something for any measure of time, we start to get buried. Like our ability to process, our ability to purge, our ability to see new perspectives starts getting buried under the new grooves of the neural pathway that we are wiring in our brain because of that thought process. And we get stuck in the processing sometimes if we do not have fresh perspective. And so that's why I'm just a huge fan of having somebody to bounce things off of, to offer new perspective, to help go through or coach the steps of something like grief, for example. Take you and walk you through the process, right? Affirm the fact that it is okay to be angry. It is okay to be sad. It's okay to be confused. It's okay to be upset. It is how we process and how we then channel the outlets of those feelings that we have, right? And somebody who's got some experience in these things can help you properly channel the direction that that anger or grief or sadness goes. Because if we don't channel it, if we don't process it internally and then purge it from our systems, it is going to damage us on the inside. It's going to damage our psyche. It's going to damage our body. And unfortunately, it's going to damage the people around us because it's going to leak in ways we really don't want it to for people that we love, that we certainly don't want to or mean to hurt. And you know the saying, hurt people hurt people. And frankly, I'm just being honest here, I think it's quite selfish to stay in a state of perpetual pain and anguish and angst because you think you'll get over it, or tomorrow will be a better day, or I just need to, distract myself and do something different right now. Chances are, if you've been in something for a prolonged period of time, your attitude and your mood, even your neurochemistry, is being affected in ways you may not fully understand or see, but the people around you probably can. So there's absolutely no shame in getting support and coaching and just getting the tools to process, getting a shoulder to lean on, to bounce things off of, to validate how you're feeling. And furthermore, to take you through, the proper processes and steps to moving into and through things like grief, and then again, offering new perspectives for pathways into new situations or out of certain situations or whatever is required at that time. I'm just a huge fan, and I encourage you, if you're going through something, please, like I said, there is no shame in getting support and guidance. In fact, quite the opposite. I think it's strange to think that we can handle things on our own all of the time. I think it's strange to think that we should be expected to just know how to move through things we've never experienced before, or things that take us by surprise, or things that, our culture back in the day used to do in community. As I was talking to this person, I had pictures in my mind of what it must have been like in community. Back when communities did things differently, back when our culture was not a digital culture or an industrial culture, back when people functioned as people in relationships and they didn't have relationships via via some digital box or handheld device, or something like that. Back when people were doing relationship face to face and all of that. Think about that. Think of how different we processed things. Think of how different, you think about the barn raisings. When people would get together and build barns and then raise them together, they did that in the community. Certain cultures and tribes sat in circles on a regular basis and passed the pipe, so to speak, or passed the food in some cases. And they sat in these circles, and the whole point was contemplation, fellowship, and gaining wisdom from the elders. Like, whatever happened to that? And can we get it back? Can we please get it back? We so desperately need some of that back. We need the wisdom of the elders in those types of settings where we are in circles, face to face, sharing whatever it is. It really doesn't matter. You understand the idea. It was about the sharing not only of things, but also of thoughts and ideas. And people were never expected to go just off on their own and handle a problem all by themselves. That's not how we were designed. We were not designed to be on an island, to have to carry the burden of something we don't know how to handle. And there are people who do. There are people who have experience. There are people who have wisdom and tools to share that can really help us and support us and allow us to process properly and move through things. And then what's the point? The point is, when you have the knowledge and wisdom to do that, you get to go pay it forward and help somebody else who's maybe going through something you've already been through and you are on the other side of. And that is incredibly valuable. So the invitation today is, my friend, if you are dealing with something, my last podcast was about this idea of feeling unsupported, when the reality is it actually may be a reflection of you and how you are or are not supporting yourself. And I'm going to argue that one of the ways we support ourselves first and foremost is to reach out when we need to truly reach out, to respect ourselves and love ourselves enough to say, I cannot handle this issue on my own, or I don't know how to deal with this thing, or I need some guidance and advice because I've never done this before. Saying that to ourselves, respecting and honoring ourselves enough to continue to learn and grow is the first step. That is supporting ourselves. Then open yourself up to and look around for the kind of guidance and support you need for whatever it is that you're dealing with now. It's a beautiful thing. It's how we were designed, and it can only make you a stronger, better person. I am with you in it as always. So much love to you, and I can't wait to see you on the next episode.